This is Bishop Julian's weekly message. I don't know if you've caught sight of the current debate in the national press and the Spectator magazine. It's about where the Church of England is and has been during the pandemic. We've been criticised for wanting to dismantle the parish system, make clergy redundant, centralise everything, and be online rather than do church in person. Our archbishops have responded with a robust defence, arguing very convincingly that we are still very much in business and doing all that core work that's characterised our ministry from one generation to the next. Yes, we've not always got things right, and we must be the first to hold up our hands and admit our failings. That's been very evident in the case of the safeguarding of children and vulnerable adults. Recent reports reveal frightening accounts, and there are still other reviews yet to come. So our defence of the Church cannot be complacent or arrogant, but it does need to tell the true story, so that the message people hear is not false and one-sided, but balanced and accurate. The archbishops have said, and I quote, "We've been burying the dead, comforting the bereaved, feeding the hungry, and praying for the nation and the world." They go on to say there are no plans to dismantle the parish network. We're called to be a Christian presence in every community. Huge efforts are being made in our poorest urban and rural areas, and we're not cutting back on clergy numbers. This year, we've seen the biggest rise in lay and ordained vocations for a quarter of a century. Yes, as is true of every organisation that is going through the pandemic, we are looking at how we can be more effective in our mission. Various work streams around vision and strategy, governance, transforming effectiveness and episcopal ministry are underway and will be reporting to the House of Bishops and General Synod. Given the shake-up that the pandemic has given to the nation, it is inevitable and wise that the Church gets itself ready for the next chapter of our mission. The archbishops quote the theologian Hans Kung, who once observed that to stay the same when everything else around you changes is not to stay the same. The archbishops also said that there have always been those who have wanted to undermine the credibility of the Church of Jesus Christ. It was, they say, ever thus. Well, that should not drive us to despair, but rather galvanise us to be on the front foot and to so live out the gospel life that opponents find their accusations slipping away in the face of the evidence. Jesus warned his followers, his first followers, that they should beware if all people spoke well of them. In fact, the scriptures imply that if believers are faithful to what God has revealed, well, then they will be persecuted. And while this current opposition is nothing compared with what some of our brothers and sisters experience elsewhere in the world, it's no surprise that pot shots are being fired at the Archbishop and the Church as an institution. And that is why making church healthy is so key and at the heart of Vision 2026. Unashamedly, we strive to be a community centred around Jesus Christ, full of grace and truth, a fellowship of the Spirit, a beacon of light and love. And that means we must offer God the worship that is in spirit and in truth, whether in person or online. We make ourselves and others disciples of Jesus. We're witnesses to the gospel. We grow leaders for the future. And we inspire children and young people to embrace the life of faith. As a diocese, we have set our hand to this plough, and we will not look back. Thank you for listening.